Every decision comes with a risk behind it. It shapes you. Even what you eat, if you're gonna stand up tomorrow at 8, if you're gonna go to work, if you're gonna study, everything shapes you.
Are small decisions necessary for big change? It starts with small decisions.
It's not just about learning the guitar, it's the process of learning the guitar. The 20s is the time to enjoy, to try everything.
Explore.
If you want to move to another country, do it. If you want to do this, do it. Do it. Just do it.
And there is no good or bad decision. The good decision is when you accept, take the risk. You don't know what's going to happen, and that's why you make it.
Every decision comes with a risk.
So today's episode is about making decisions. So you guys replied, the 15, 16 followers, or maybe 21 now, replied on the story that we posted. And the one that got out was
making decisions. So everyone wants to know how to, not wants to know how to make decisions, but wants to hear about making decisions. Isn't that crazy?
Does that mean it's really up to you then? Deciding? Like it seems like, it seems like you can take control over everything by taking the right decisions.
Right.
And it also seems that if you think of making decisions, like not making this, there is this famous idea or quote even that, when you don't decide, this is already a decision. Mm-hmm. And then what you can think of it like, okay, if I take only the right decisions for a long enough period of time, then I'm going to end up being a successful person or whatever.
Right. But then again, why don't we make it's your brain. If you say, I want to move my arm, I'm going to move my arm. If I want to stretch it, if I want to do this. If I want to do a handstand. I'm stretching
really good.
I can do a handstand here on this table if I want to. Mm-hmm. But then again, it is crazy because when you dive into the decision making, you don't really, some decisions, you could just make them, but you don't because you're scared. Mm-hmm. Or you have fear, or you have fear of judgment, of people thinking something about you, or because it doesn't align with your values. And then at the same point, I think making decisions has become such a hard thing because we have too many options.
Yeah.
Right?
True. And I think the more options you have, then the harder it gets, kind of, right?
Yeah, to make your a decision, because you're maybe this is a good decision, but the other one is as good, but not as good. Maybe that one is also good.
Yeah. I think this is really funny because what do you consider when you are trying to make a decision? You consider how it feels now, so maybe a bit your gut feeling.
Yeah,
but also you try to guess, right? You try to live in the future to be like, okay, what is the impact that it's gonna make?
Yeah.
And I think decisions are happening through our whole life. Like, should I marry this person, or should I basically quit this job, or should I commit to this job, or this type of things, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we can start also with the don't even, before we dive into work and marriage and everything, just the fact of buying a phone.
Mm-hmm. You had to buy a phone lately, or?
Yeah. I had to buy this phone, and man, it was hurting my heart,
The price, or what was it about?
The price, the fact that it's just a phone. It's just a freaking phone,
It's made only to call.
It's only to call, If you go back years ago, 20 years ago, people didn't even have internet in the phone. There was no social media. It was just about being man, I'm going to get a phone to call my friends or to text, Nowadays, it's I have to have a good camera. I have to have this, I have to have this. There's the iPhone 15, 16, maybe 17 is already out. I don't know, 12, 11. It's which one should I? Pro, SE, then you have all the Androids, you're which phone should I buy, man?
You try to analyze everything, right?
You analyze everything. You Google, you ChatGPT, because that's the new thing, You ChatGPT all the possibilities, and ChatGPT is going to be I feel you, I understand you. If you want a budget-friendly phone, you should go for this one. If you want a powerful one, you should go for this one.
And you look at your bank account, you're like, I could, but should I?
But
right?
should I, you know? And
Should
it's
I?
like, do I really want an expensive phone if I'm just gonna have this phone for the next, I don't know, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
And then the phone is kind of like getting bad or something,
Yeah.
or like a laptop, you know?
And what's funny is that it's not even about the price. For example, I don't know, you are hesitating between iPhone 14 and iPhone 15.
Yeah.
It's not about the price because like iPhone 14 is, let's say, 500. iPhone 15 is 600.
Yeah.
But if you had the iPhone 15 with a discount, then you would still be basically trying to get the cheapest thing, you know?
Yeah. Man.
And then you would be like comparing iPhone 15 with or iPhone 14 with the next one, and iPhone 15 with the next one, and you will always just try to always get the best option, you know?
Yeah. At the best price. Or
And-
at the best.
And this,
you know?
regardless of the price, if you have 1,000 euros or 500 euros, you will be like, what is the thing that I get the most for the cheapest price, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For the minimum effort in the end, right?
Yeah. And isn't that the same with jobs as well, kind of, you know?
I think it's like this everywhere.
When you're in a job interview, you're trying to ask for the highest salary. You're
Yeah,
trying
and
to
whatever the number is,
yeah.
you know, you can be paid 40K or 80K. You're gonna go for the fight, you know? And it can be 2 euros. You can be like, can I get 3 euros? You know?
3 euros more per month, you know? You know, I want this 3 euros more. You know?
And I think this is clearly not about how much money you have to pay. Because if you live in an economy where the phone is 2,000 euros instead of 1,000 or 500,
Yeah,
you would still try to get
exactly.
to make a decision that is as beneficial to you as possible, right?
It's hard. it's a hard thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
This of the options, you know, and this is just having a phone and a thing. But what about like, there's this thing, you know, like you have to make big decisions to make big change.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people say. But don't small decisions also make big change?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to work through something. It's just a small type of decisions that are going to bring you to a big decision. But we're trying to always see the future kind of and be like, okay, this big decision is going to bring me to something, you know? And it can also lead to disappointment and things like that.
And even more than this, are small decisions not necessary for big change? Like, I mean, it probably starts with small decisions.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to be like, okay, I want this to happen, so I'm going to make a big decision. But most of the time, it cannot, everything doesn't happen at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't learn to play music in one day. You don't learn to play tennis, or you don't learn to play football in one day.
Yeah.
And the way you're going to improve at this is to actually take small steps, making small decisions. Okay, I'm going to go to training once a week. It's going to take a year. It's going to take the time it takes, but I'm going to reach the point of being able to play tennis, music, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, yeah, really often, again, this thing of, shortcutting is like, it doesn't happen, right? This is just like the small steps, the small decisions that actually, once you have made a lot of small decisions, you realize that it was a really big decision that you made back in the days.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's big is not each small step that you made, but just small steps together, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the hours and it's the effort and it's the small decisions that I think bring you like further in life.
The giraffe, man.
The giraffe, you know, the giraffe doesn't get a long neck overnight, you know.
It's true, man.
But then, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I love shortcutting. You know, like I just love just have it done, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through this process, man.
If you can, let's do it, you know.
Exactly.
But can you sometimes?
I try not to, you know.
Why?
To shortcut?
I would.
You would? I mean,
Man,
I also do. I try.
If I knew how to play guitar tomorrow, you know, if I could know that,
exactly.
And give it to me, I'm gonna learn it in one day.
But
I wish, you know.
But I think the process of the decision, like the small decisions and the baby steps, that's where you grow the most. I think, in my opinion, when I try to learn a skill or when I try to do something, if I get confronted with all this like issues and stuff, for me it's not just about, you said the guitar. It's not just about learning the guitar. It's about the process of learning the guitar. I think that will shape my brain with a different mindset, and that will benefit me more in the future rather than just learning it and shortcut it, you know? I'm not saying that I don't shortcut. I do. I do.
But why would you then?
Shortcut?
It means you want to get rid of the process, right?
Yeah, it's because you want to, I think you want to learn as fast as possible, because in that process, of course, you get frustrated if you don't learn, or you know, you're trying to do something, then you fail, and it's like failing is a good thing. You should fail to learn, you know? But of course, you know, you want to kind of avoid it or play around it, you know?
If you can, you know.
If you can.
But it lands on the deep belief that once you get the final result of all the process, then you will be happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the reality is that you will most likely feel empty, right? In the sense that if you don't have to fight for what you get, then there is not even meaning for life, right? Like you are like, okay, then if I, you know, like the economy wouldn't work if you didn't have to work hard to actually get rich.
So it's like those, like if you're super rich, you are born, you're super rich, you just have money to do everything, you know?
And I think you feel kind of empty. You're like, why do I get so much without having to go
work
through
for it?
To go through the pain, right? Not even the pain, through the process. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily painful, but you have to put your heart into it, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. And I think like on that note as well, I was reading a book.
You're reading a lot of books.
I was reading a book and a podcast as well about this guy, not reading, listening. And he was saying that, you know, we're in our 20s, you and me, and a lot of the people are listening right now as well. And one of the craziest things is like in your 20s, you're trying to do everything so fast because of social media. So you're trying to finish, let's say you want to study, you're trying to finish as fast as you can.
To be ready for the 30s.
To be ready for, yeah, exactly. So you can work, you know, and then you're trying to work in that position. And then maybe you get up and you get up and you're trying to get up and get up and get more money and blah, 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 blah. And this is basically what we're all trying to do, right?
That's so true.
Right? But he says such an interesting thing that I never thought about. He says, guys, when you're in your 20s, it is not about getting up to the top. It's not about that. I mean, you can do it, you know? Like, if you can do it, then your 30s are easy. Do it, you know? But basically, he says that the most important thing in society nowadays is to acquire skills. And by acquiring skills, it means like when you're 20, you don't have, like, you're not married. Okay, maybe, you know? Maybe, you know? You don't have kids, maybe, you know? But it's like that you have all this freedom that you can use and then just be learning things that you would never be exposed to. Let's say you studied IT, right? So you after you finished, you went to IT, but you never like went to do something else, right? No. So like you don't have those skills that you could get in another area, you know? Just because you were like, I have to do this, I'm not saying you specifically. There's nothing against you.
It's about me.
It's about you. Don't take it personally. You know? But I mean, in general, you know, you're just trying to do this thing. But actually, if you learn other skills in your 20s and you get to know other things, in your 30s, you're going to be like, okay, I have these skills. Maybe I have a main skill, you know, and then I also have soft skills. And I have so many types of skills that I can just use and, I don't know, build a company or make a huge decision or make something else.
You don't know.
You don't know. He's basically saying you don't know, but when you're in your 20s, it's the time to get to know.
Yes.
You know, it's the time to build yourself and so it's like when I talk about these baby steps, you know, the small decisions, is like go this, do this, try this, is to try everything, you know? So then you don't have to think, oh, what if, okay, I studied IT. Okay, let's say I studied biology my whole life. Then I was like, but what if I did IT? Maybe I would have liked IT more, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I would have liked that thing more.
That makes so much sense. You know, right? I think this is like babies. Like babies, when they were born, they had to figure out what food they like. So they're tasting like vegetables, they're tasting like puree and all these things. You know?
But they like the donut, you know?
and they like the donut. But, you know, they have to go through this process of testing everything and each baby is liking different things, right? Okay, there may be some commonalities and some tastes that are similar between babies, like sweets and stuff. Like they like the donuts,
Of course, man.
but like they have this innocence, right? This mindset. Okay, if I don't try, I don't know, and I have to figure it out. And they have like, they don't feel judged, right?
Yeah.
They don't see like, oh, okay, if I don't like this, oh, then it's my fault if I don't like this. They're just like, yeah, it doesn't taste good. You're saying, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't even question. They just follow your their feeling. Initially, they just follow their feelings. They're connected to their body, and they just listen to it, right?
Yeah.
But then when it's about the 20s, we have like so many things we could try, so many areas of life, so many sports, so many, I don't know,
Yeah, jobs even and
jobs,
classes.
even type of people you meet, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Or even like sexually, like potentially like sexual partners or whatever things, you know, just experiencing life and what's out there.
Uh-huh.
And we tend not to do this because society tells you that you should find your path.
Exactly. And you need to know your path now.
And funnily, so we are like, okay, then let's make a decision. I'm gonna go to IT, you know.
You know, I'm gonna go now.
So people think that I know, but you know, no one knows.
No one knows. Honestly, you're in IT, I'm in biology, you know. But I don't know if I want to do biology for the rest of my life, you know. You also don't know if you want to do IT. It's just to say that it's not everyone that has it figured out. It's not because people are working and are doing something. It doesn't mean that they have it figured out and this is their life, you know. This is what you see on the outside. This is what you see on social media and everything. But it doesn't mean, maybe my biggest decision will be like, damn, man, I don't like biology, bro. You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying that, sorry, teacher. But like,
Are you sorry?
Are you sorry? But I'm saying like, then maybe I like IT. Then I'm gonna go for IT. You know?
That's so funny. This is like you were a baby. You tried zucchini. You're like, it's okay, you know. It's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah.
So I'm gonna eat zucchini for the rest of my life. You know? You're like, brother, you know. Did you taste omelette or whatever? What is the thing you can find?
My omelette, man.
Your omelette.
My omelette, you know.
The guy is flipping it.
He's flipping this omelette.
Yeah,
right.
But I think that's a really good point. So I think like, what's behind this? So the right way to approach this, or an inspiring way to approach this, is to actually take decisions of enjoying the 20s, right?
Yeah. I think the 20s, I think it's the time to enjoy and to try everything.
To
explore. Explore. If you want to move to another country, do it. If you want to do this, do it. Just do it. And don't think about it. Like the option, like all the options
like
that
baby,
we have.
Yeah?
Huh?
Like a baby.
Like a baby, yeah. Don't think about it. It's like you have so many options. Like, oh, maybe this, maybe I move there, maybe I move there. Just do what you want to do. But then that also brings us to the question, the gut feeling. You know? You trust your gut?
Do you trust your gut?
Do you trust your gut?
You should answer, because me. That's a good question, but I think making decisions is a lot about this, right? Is it where you kind of is it what's behind your question?
Kind of.
Yeah, I actually would like to kind of reformulate it, like, so making decisions. Could we say, and you will see where I'm trying to go.
Okay.
So we said okay, the topic for today is about making decisions. Could we say the topic for today is about making choices?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what's the difference between a choice and a decision?
Actually, I never thought about it.
I think it's all about the questions that you asked just before. So about trusting your gut or not. So yeah, I read a book, and one more time, guys.
One more time.
Down below description.
Exactly.
And this is a philosopher who talks about making decisions. The book is about self-confidence.
Yeah.
And he explains that basically a choice is when you have a set of rational arguments to know what you're gonna do. So, for example, if you have like two options, you, let's say, have like, how to make this relatable. I don't know. you have two systems, two cars. One car is more powerful and the other car is less powerful.
Yeah.
Then you can make a choice about this because you have basically data about this and you can quantify, okay, this car is actually better because it has more power.
More
let's
power.
say.
So like a rational thing. Yeah.
This is really rational, right?
Okay.
And then you just make the choice and then the choice is made. But then where we struggle is when we have to make decisions because it requires to have like confidence and to listen in, to tune in, and to actually listen to your gut feeling. So for example, an example he gives is when you're at the restaurant and you have the pili pili chicken and the roast beef, you know?
Yeah.
And how do you decide between this? You're like both can be appealing in different ways, and there is no rational argument telling you pili pili chicken. I don't even know if it's a meal, you know.
It is a good one, man.
It's like pili pili chicken
I would take the peri chicken, bro.
is better than the roast beef, right? Because some people would prefer roast beef, some people would prefer the chicken.
Yeah.
And you actually just have to feel like, what do I feel like, you know? What is my gut feeling about this? And then I think some people really get stuck, you know? They can be like super indecisive and be like, okay, what is the best, you know, what is the best meal that I should eat? And they're gonna I don't know, maybe check the proteins or maybe check the fat or the calories or to try to find an explanation or rational argument.
If you're on a diet or if you're on a
and to drive and then to try to make it a choice because knowing, having a set of rational arguments make you feel comfortable. You don't have to trust yourself to make a choice, but to take a decision, this is about, okay, what's happening inside of you and listening, tuning in.
That is such an interesting thing. I've really never heard about that, but that makes so much sense because if I think about it, if I go into a restaurant or whatever, I already kind of have my choice, right? I'm going into this restaurant because I already have an idea that I'm going to eat that thing.
Yeah.
Or when I'm going to buy a phone, you know, like we just talked about it. My choice was already there, you know, but I was not confident enough to actually make the final decision about it.
To feel good and to be like, okay, I will be at peace with that, right?
Exactly. So then I go and I question myself, and then I question, like maybe I ask my friends, you know, like anyone, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but what's the decision I should actually make? Like when I was buying this new laptop, I was asking you the whole time.
Yeah.
My choice was there. I kind of from the beginning knew that I was going to buy that one.
Yeah.
I did buy it at the end, you see?
Yeah.
But I was fighting demons for a month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because rationally you knew, okay, this computer is much better and probably you could afford it, right?
Yeah.
But then the tricky part was inside of you, right?
Yeah, I was not confident enough. I was like, should I? Should I really?
Should I? Yeah.
You know, then I'm like, Luke is an IT guy.
Let's put it on Luke.
You know, let's put it on him, you know. He's gonna give me the confidence to actually find a way to reach my final decision, you know.
And I think this happens in every area of our lives, basically. He gives another example that is also really that I find really meaningful. Is when you have to find a job, you know, like it's a mom that has basically two offers. Actually, not two offers. She has a job where she's currently, and it's okay, you know, it's okay-ish, but she's not so fulfilled there. But this is really secure. She knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, and her salary is enough to basically live. And then she gets a job offer where this is kind of the job that she has been dreaming about for years. But on the other hand, it requires moving to another place. It requires less security because she has the probation period or something.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit more money, you know. But then you see, like in this exact example, that this is about what's happening inside of you, right?
Yeah.
And there is no good or bad decision. This is just the good decision is when you actually accept to manage to listen in and you accept to take the risk. When you embrace the risk, meaning like in both cases, happen what's going to happen, and you just manage to embrace the risk, embrace every possibilities of it, right?
Yeah.
And to flow with it, let's say.
That's so true. Because go ahead.
And he says that basically part of this embracing the risk thing is like all the beauty of life behind. because you expose yourself. You make yourself vulnerable. You might fail, but he says this is the whole point of making a decision. You don't know what's gonna happen, and that's why you make it.
Yeah. And because every decision comes with a risk behind it. There's always a risk, and that's why we feel insecure about the decisions we made. That's why we fear judgment, towards ourselves, and everything. There's always a risk in every decision you make.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like you can try to make choices your whole life, but basically your life won't be you. It will just be, your life will just be a set of choices that are based on rational arguments. And mostly it's going to be based on technical data or on people's opinion, right? And then you won't have like your life that is driven by actually you taking decisions because you feel it, but just because you felt comfortable about it.
And because, you felt fear from the judgment outside, your family, friends, or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically, you should always make a decision because you want to do it. But then it's like, it's also what you said. There's no wrong or right decision. There's no bad or good decision.
Even if it fucks up, this was still the right decision because you felt it.
Don't you feel like the bad decisions you make, like bad, and there's
so it sounds so bad, like I'm thinking, in my head, what are the bad decisions,
like but like
you think of the consequences, or
exactly, like the bad decisions I make. I mean, not the decisions. Okay, you passed out on the street. I'm not saying you passed out on the street. That's not even a decision. But I mean, like the bad decision in the sense, like you thought this decision was just not for you. You thought, okay, this is not for me. I don't want to do it. But then at the end, this decision was just maybe one of the best things that happened to you. I don't know if you had that. I had that,
Sure, let's go.
I mean, like for me, it's like when I was 17, when it was between staying in Portugal or moving to Austria,
Oh.
Oh. It's like, oh, And for me, when I was 17, man, I was still a teenager, Like I had all my friends. I was still in high school. High school is that time, start meeting people, hanging out, Like
this is life, man.
It's the life, You start finally,
flying.
You go out and everything. You have your friends. Your friends are like the most important thing when you're 17, And for me, it was just like, I'm in my country, in like my language, my culture. I'm so comfortable here. Why should I go to another country, And I remember my mom telling me, like, yeah, we're going to move to Austria. And I was like, what? Out of the blue. I was like, why are we moving, She was like, yeah, better life conditions, better everything. We're going to go there, And we're going to try. If it's not good, we come back, last case scenario. And for me, even if it's not good, we're going to come back. For me, it was like, it's not going to be good. We're going to come back, We don't even have to go there.
It was already back, you're already back, man.
Exactly. For me, it was like, nah, it's already bad. We don't have to go there. We have to stay. And I remember, like, kind of didn't really have much of a say in it, It was kind of like, it was decided, so I kind of needed to go. And deep inside of me, I knew it was a good thing for me. I knew I was going to grow because I was going to learn a new language. At the end, I learned new languages, German, English, Spanish, whatever, And I grew a lot. I saw different culture, different people, a lot of things. It was a huge decision in my life, But I remember that at the end of it, like I cried a lot, Me and my friends, we cried. I told my friends, they were like, what, bro? You are moving? When you're 17, it's like, nah, bro, like you cannot do that. You need to stay,
But it must be so much, man.
It was intense. I cried. I remember I went to the school. I told the teachers, I told the class, I told everyone, and everyone was like, you are moving now.
In front of everyone, you had to.
In front of everyone, It was public.
and this was not your direct decision, right?
It was mostly my parents' decision, And I kind of knew that it was good for me, deep inside of me, but I kind of didn't want to see it, I kind of was thinking like, nah, this is my place. I need to stay here, right?
Yeah.
So I in this decision, I just saw way more cons than pros, I saw more pros in staying than cons in going, And then I was like, yeah, man, talk to my friends and everything. And I was like, at the end of the decision, my mom was like, if you want to stay, you can stay, like at the like I think 1 week before.
She told you this?
Yeah. She was like, if you want to stay, if you really want to stay, like if it's really your thing, you can stay. But she was like, opportunities, you get it once, and you should also embrace them and take them, You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know if this is a good thing for you, or not. Then I thought about it,
Man, you didn't sleep that night.
I didn't sleep the whole week. I didn't sleep the whole week, man.
After all this, right? You had announced it to your to your mates at school and everything.
Yeah,
right?
after I said everything, and then I remember I even called my grandma. I was like, Grandma, I don't want to go. I want to stay. There's nowhere I'm going. No way I'm going. I don't want to go. And my grandma was like, yeah, if he doesn't want to go, shouldn't really force him to go. Then at some point, my mom understood. Yeah, okay. I
When you call the grandma, it's an emergency.
It's the emergency. Grandma, help me.
Find a way.
Find a way, man, into this woman, into your daughter's head. And then that night I was sleeping like this.
The eyes were
And
wide open.
At the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the decision, and I'm gonna see.
Happens what happens.
Happens what happens. I'm gonna see. And this decision I made 7 years ago, and this was the best decision I've made in my life. And in that moment, I just couldn't see that it was a good decision.
You were convinced, right?
I was so convinced, because it's what you said, your gut feeling as well. My gut, my feelings, it was like, no, it has to be here. I'm not confident enough to make this decision. I'm confident enough to go,
So your gut feeling was playing games with you?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. My gut.
But what happened? Why did you... What made you go?
What made me go was that I
fuck?
kind of trusted that my mom has better judgment than me at the end of the day in this decision, because I was like, she went through a lot of things in her life.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't do this just because she wants to be mean to me.
Yeah.
There's for sure something about it, I was like, maybe I'm just not seeing the vision. I'm not seeing the picture behind it, right?
And you trusted that.
And I was like, I'm going to, like, I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to just trust the unknown, basically. Not even my mom. I was like, I'm going to trust the unknown, It's going to be like, man,
life will happen.
Exactly. I was like, bro, I'm in the middle of the street, whatever happens,
But that's...
And yeah, I just took the decision, and I was like, yeah, let's go. Okay, we start. It's a new chapter now. We're going to start, and we're going to see.
It's today.
And today, I'm here sitting with you. We would have never met. I would have never probably made this podcast, Like, so many things in my life would have probably never happened, My life would have been so different today. Not saying that maybe I would have not grown as much if I stayed,
You don't know.
But I don't know.
But you decided otherwise.
I decided otherwise. I don't know, but my main point is, like, I don't regret it, Even though...
So is it a bad decision if you regret it, and that's the only criteria for it to be a bad decision?
I don't think so. Because I don't think that you should I don't think you should regret your decisions, Because I think you should learn from your decisions.
But you could regret not taking a decision.
Yeah.
If you are just waiting for... again, set of rational arguments to come to you, and then you just...
I think if I'm...
act passively...
Exactly.
Then life will keep going, but without you, right?
Yeah. I think, like, if I didn't make the decision, I think myself today, if I wouldn't, like, have this decision of living in another country, I would have gone back and have been like, hey, man, I actually maybe should have done it, because I was young.
Because you probably felt it somewhere.
Yeah.
That there was something there.
That's what I was saying. I felt there was something, but I just couldn't see so many pros in this decision. I was just seeing cons, man. Like, I was like, there was a huge list of cons. The cons were going under the ground,
Took a piece of paper, you list everything.
And there was no ChatGPT back then,
No one.
And yeah, But for me, like, this was one of the best decisions I made. I grew so much. I learned so many things about myself. I learned many languages as well. And
you met me. Come on.
And I met you, yeah. Mwah. Mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I mean when you think it's a
Powerful.
bad decision, but actually the outcome can be so great, but you just cannot see it. And it's like also with, I think, with athletes as well. They risk everything to be themselves, or like with YouTubers or whatever. They risk everything. They are like, I'm not gonna be afraid of judgment. I'm gonna make this fucking decision, you know?
It's gonna be me.
You know? And I'm gonna make it somehow. It's a new chapter. Let's embrace it and make it, you know? And I'm gonna make the best out of it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you think about it, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, all these big guys, if they didn't make this decision,
nothing would have happened.
Nothing would have happened, man.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't. But even if it doesn't,
that's equally good, I think.
It's equally good. That's what I think. Even if your decision, you make your decision, it's not good at the end. It didn't work, but you made it.
What is good or bad? As long as it's you, then life is happening to you, and you live it fully, right?
You live it fully. Yeah,
that's the point.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, like you said, embrace the risk. Is the most important thing to embrace.
And to enjoy and to enjoy the fact that the part of the risk is that it can fail, and that makes the success even sweeter, right?
Sweeter, yeah. This is honey on top.
It's more than honey.
It's so much
whole pot of sugar.
Nutella, man. Put that Nutella on top. Yeah.
I have actually similar experience than you on moving to Austria. I think these are always big moves in life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, it was COVID. I was in home office, 5 days.
Getting cooked.
5 days per week at home. In summer, full. How do you say that? It was like 40.
Oh my
35,
days.
40 degrees.
Oh my days.
And I broke up with my ex, man.
Oh my days.
You're cooking in there, bro.
You're cooking in there.
40 degrees, you don't know if it's the heat or if it's your ex anymore.
You don't know if it's your mental health or you're just sweating, man.
Everything is sweating. You know?
Everything, man.
And I was like, I have to get out of this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to go. But man, I'm going there. I don't fucking care. You know? I just know now it's bad. And there is somewhere where it can be better, and I trusted that, you know.
Yeah.
And I embrace this, and I was like, okay, then I'm just gonna apply for jobs through the whole Europe. It was COVID, and
so you just applied through the whole of Europe, really?
Anywhere, man. You know, LinkedIn, you just write software engineer.
Europe location.
Location Europe. And then you click, man. You know, you put the filter fast apply, or I don't know.
Fast apply, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Man, you just want to send the CV. Send it.
You send 400 applications. So, to my employer when I came to Austria.
This is how I found you.
Is this guy? This guy is listening, so that's how I found you, yeah? And I just came out of nowhere, knowing no one, not having a...
So Austria was the first place that
accepted
you.
Man, I had nowhere to go, you know. I just wanted to be out of this flat where I was with my ex before.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to pay rent for this flat anymore.
There's no way, man. And I just found the thing, and 2 weeks later I had to move, you know. So I had to give back my flat.
Damn.
Move all my stuff. And then I took my car, bro. It was 1,500 kilometers.
Yeah, you came with a car, true.
Straight, bro.
You came with the car alone, so you drove like 2 days, right?
I was cooked, man. I was cooked. With all my luggage, everything in the car, you know?
Oh, my days.
And it was COVID, so I didn't have a COVID pass or whatever shit.
Yeah.
And so I passed the border. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to pass the border late at night so I don't have to be stopped and
in control. COVID times were crazy.
And I remember I passed the border of Germany. It was like midnight. But then I passed the border of Austria. It was like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something, even later.
What?
And then after the border of Austria, I was like, okay. It was a good step, you know. Life is with me, you know.
Life is with you. You're praying, man.
And then I slept after the border, and then I arrived, and I met you, yeah.
Isn't that so crazy? I mean, we have to give a background to the people. Like,
Yeah.
We met in a shared flat. Isn't that crazy?
And Raul is the first guy that I met in Austria.
Yeah.
Based on drunk decisions, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Based on
It was just like, yeah, you just feel like something can happen in your life, and you're like, bro, it's time to make it happen. Whatever happens.
right. I mean, when I think about your story, it's just so funny, you know, because when so I was already in Austria, right? But I was not in Vienna. I was not living in Vienna. I was living somewhere else. And then I did my exchange semester in Prague. So I was living in Prague for 6 months. And after I come back from Prague, I'm like, okay, I need to get a flat in Vienna. So I had no flat, you know, because I took too long to make the decision. There was so many choices.
And now the decision was about just finding a flat.
Finding, you know, and then you come back from Prague, you come to Vienna. I was like, yeah, Vienna is going to be my new home. I'm going to study there and everything. And then, you know, I come to Vienna, I have no flat, you know, I have nothing. I'm pretty much naked, you know, you know.
You have trunks.
Exactly. But I had two good friends. So I stayed at their place for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks, you know. But I was like, okay, I cannot stay at people's place for 6 years, you know. And I had all my luggage, my TV, my PlayStation, you know. Like, I'm like, guys, I'm moving here. I'm crashing
Carrying,
here.
you know.
I'm carrying all my stuff, you know. Then at some point, I'm like, okay, I really need to get a flat, you know. And I remember choosing this flat. I saw this flat.
We all saw the same video.
We all saw the same.
Man, this video was this generic video, you know.
Man,
like,
this was such an AI video,
with
man.
a little music, like making you feel like it's everything new, everything good, you
Man,
know.
you just saw pros in this decision, you know. They were just pros. The flat looks good and everything, and I was like, damn, that's a good flat.
6 people, you know.
6 people in a flat and a shared flat. I'm like, it's okay, you know, like
Life will happen to you. Don't worry. Man.
Exactly, you know. And then I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a nice flat. I saw that flat, and I'm telling you, I knew it was gonna be that flat. So I was like, I didn't even see the flat. I didn't even go to see the flat. I called, I think the landlord, whatever. I said, I'm moving in tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, tomorrow I'm inside. He's like, okay, bro, like come, you know,
go for it.
And my 2 friends, very good friends of mine, they helped me, you know, carry everything. We arrived to the flat, and I arrive, and all the people are there, and I see you, you know,
sitting there, you know. I just landed.
You know, he's just sitting there, like the French guy, just, you know, and it's just so funny because I met all the guys there, and I'm like, hey, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? They were nice people as well, the guys who lived with us. And then there was something about you know? He was like, yeah, I'm French, I'm Luke. I was like, oh, bonjour. You know, I was like, oh, how are you doing? And everything. Ça va, you know, and everything. And then, yeah, and then today we're here making this podcast.
That's crazy. All this based on,
all this based on
decisions you don't have a clue about.
If you move to another flat, we probably would have never met. If I came to Vienna with a flat, I probably, you know, like, it's just these small things.
Planets were aligned, I don't know, man.
Right? And then that also makes me believe that there's just the universe, you know, kind of like you attract what you are or what you want.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
If you live in a certain way, you're gonna, like, the things are gonna align in a way that you're gonna get them, right?
And I think we all sense this somehow. When you do things, you know, we all have these moments in life where we were like completely flowing in what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
And you see that it attracts good, man. You know?
Yeah.
You are just fully yourself. You're like, man, happens what happens, I'm just gonna deal with it. And you just go there with your whole heart.
Yeah.
And I don't know, somehow, it works. Right?
It works, yeah. And I think those what everyone calls the bad decisions. I think people call bad decisions the ones that you don't think too much. You know, that you just go for it.
Okay.
At least that's what I call bad decisions.
Yeah. So.
But they're not bad necessarily.
So what? Like what, for example?
Like for the flat, you know, I just went for it.
Oh, you thought it could have been a bad decision?
Yeah, because I was like, I never saw this fucking flat. You know, I mean, the video looks good.
Yeah.
The landlord seems real. But it could be, man.
He could the main criteria.
You know, you could send me a flat in you know, he's like, yeah, the address is in Mozambique. I'm like, bro, I'm in Vienna. You know? I was like, yeah, it could be a very bad decision. I'm losing my caution, the first rent, but, you know, like...
You don't know?
I don't know. Let's see, you know.
Yeah.
And at the end, there was like an amazing like experience, you know.
Yeah, it was really funny. Really funny.
Really funny. Yeah.
But then, then bad decisions. It's funny. Like for me, it's more like when a decision is not you, then it's a bad decision. No,
Mm-hmm.
like if you do something because you feel like you have to do it, I think that's the best way to regret it. No,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like if you have to stay somewhere. For example, if I took the decision to stay where I was, like in this oven, in
This
the middle
oven
of my
in
city,
France.
where my ex was also living, then I think, and if I just waited there for something to happen to me and to be like, oh look, life is gonna come great to you, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
If I didn't make it happen, I
Yeah.
think that would have been a bad decision.
Yeah.
Because you know it somewhere inside of you that you are capable of better, you are worth more.
Yeah.
And
But then again, you know, but we kind of know that we should take some decisions, but we're always scared, you know.
this is damn fucking scary, man.
It is. We're always like playing safe, you know. You always want to play safe. You always want to be in the good rule, you know.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, maybe I make this decision, but what if I don't like it? I'm so comfortable where I am. You know? It's about getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's the biggest decision you have to make, to get out of your comfort zone.
And especially, yes, definitely, yeah. And especially, we live in a world where this is kind of valued and promoted to actually we have more and more ways to actually take rational decisions than choices, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for example, you don't know, you're just going to ask ChatGPT and you hope that because you cannot actually rely on yourself to feel and to decide for what you're going to do, then you're just going to ask ChatGPT and ChatGPT is going to tell you what's the best, right? But it's really going to be the best if it's ChatGPT telling you, you know?
Isn't that so dangerous? That from now on, we're kind of relying on AI to make our decisions.
I think, yeah, because
right,
it's going to make probably all decisions choices.
Yeah.
So you lose the humanity in it.
Right. You lose their authenticity.
You lose the imperfection.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
right when you move in this flat, this is clearly an imperfect.
This is so imperfect, bro. If I sent ChatGPT that video, he would have been like, "Nah, bro, you're not taking that. Don't."
If I were you, I wouldn't. And then you're like, I'm still gonna do it.
I'm still gonna do it
because I don't care, and this is what I want to live. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, from a rational standpoint, there was nothing rational.
There was nothing rational about it,
move,
right? And I think those are the best moments when your decisions are not too rational. You don't think them through so much. You just do it. Just do it. You know?
Yeah. When I moved, I left everything. If I asked ChatGPT would be like, brother, maybe you should consider doing one step at a time.
Maybe you should consider getting back to your ex.
Maybe, you can put an AC,
you know.
And it was just a super irrational
but that would influence your judgment, actually.
That would, bro. I would get scared. Yeah, well, if ChatGPT tells me ChatGPT has seen things, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But ChatGPT doesn't have the courage, or I don't know if it's courage or
the feelings, the
you know this word. I'm annoying people with this word. It's called panache.
Panache, yeah.
It's like this concept of daring and the beauty of daring, basically, of the courage that it requires, and how beautiful it is to kind of have panache.
Yeah.
The concept of it behind is like, for example, when you are, this cycling race, like, I don't know, the Tour de France, no?
Yeah.
When people are actually attacking,
yeah,
like they're in the peloton, or this group of bicycles, basically.
Yeah.
And then they start to attack to basically go ahead and win the stage. And it requires a lot of panache because basically you attack, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if your legs are going to be strong enough. You don't know if you're going to make it.
Yeah.
But the guy just feels, it's like, it's my fucking time now.
Yeah, I'm going to shine, bro. I'm going to make it.
Or when the guy is just, I don't know, like, shooting a penalty and daring to shoot the penalty, like on the crossbar or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think there are many ways, basically, where this is like, a French word where that is valuing this idea that you have to dare and to embrace the risk, and that the risk behind is actually the reward.
Exactly.
You know? When it succeeds and you took a big risk, then you have a big reward.
Exactly.
And there is beauty in it.
But then exactly, I agree with that. And then I think AI. Now we talk about ChatGPT.
Yeah,
I don't want to bullshit ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. Man, this guy has helped me.
Takes everything. Yeah.
But it's just it makes you more scared
Yeah.
about things because when you ask ChatGPT, it's gonna give you options.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an open book and it's gonna give you options and take
Rational
arguments to tell you what's best.
Mm-hmm.
But then you cannot make that. You cannot be like this guy. Like if you're gonna do the race, that's what you said. Like your legs, maybe they're not gonna be strong enough to go.
Yeah.
Then ChatGPT is gonna tell you, yeah, okay, so your legs are strong. You're gonna eat this. You're gonna sleep like this.
Yeah.
You're gonna exercise like this. You're gonna do this exercise. You're gonna eat this. So you already have so many things that you need to think about.
Yeah.
And that already makes your mind so foggy.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you felt something. You felt, okay, I feel good. I'm gonna do it. I feel this is my time. And he's gonna give you all those things that to optimize, right?
Yeah, to optimize. But actually, you should just work based on your instinct.
You lose your humanity, right?
Exactly.
You lose all the beauty of it, and probably you think your legs are good. Maybe you're gonna attack, and after 2 minutes you're gonna explode, and you are just cooked for the rest.
Exactly, because your mental health, you are thinking about all the things that you should have done, or all the decisions you could have made, and you make that. I mean, the perfect example for this is when I bought the laptop recently.
Yeah.
I had so many options,
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't decide. I bought the laptop on a refurbed website and I canceled it after 10 minutes. And you're like, you are crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I spent 1 month thinking about it. I made my decision, and I was like, I'm going to buy it on refurb, But I asked ChatGPT before. And ChatGPT just made me think about all of the other options, about all the cons and all the pros. Then I just was so insecure about my decision.
You cancel your gut feeling, right?
I canceled. And then I bought the thing and then I just canceled 10 minutes after. I was like, nah, I'm not going to buy it there,
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, okay, then I'm going to buy it secondhand with this guy, Then I went there and I was like, I'm not going to ask anything to AI or I'm not going to Google anything. I'm just going to go.
Fuck it, man.
Happens
what happens.
Happens what happens. And even after I bought it, it's still in my head like, yeah, but there is this.
Could it have been better?
Could have been.
Could I have saved 20 more euros?
Yeah. Or what if I bought this and this one was better? What if this was. And it's like, man, just do it, Raul. What?
Yeah.
Like, it is like you're letting yourself be influenced by a robot, And it's just not healthy.
And especially knowing that these robots' outputs, like what ChatGPT is telling you, is based on just raw data ingested that are coming from internet,
Yeah.
And coming also from other people talking shit to this.
Yeah.
It's just basically generated based on this.
Yeah.
So if you think of it like the way ChatGPT responds to you is based on other people's fears, other people's experiences and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But is it really the good driver for your life? I don't think so, right?
Yeah. I don't think so. I also don't think so.
This is really dangerous.
That's where I say that I think relying on AI for decisions, I think it's a dangerous part.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it removes all the authenticity that you have, all the instinct, all the gut.
Or the beauty.
All the
beauty
humanity. Of the humanity. Because this thing doesn't have feelings, This thing is just, yeah.
But you do.
But you do, yeah. You do. You are human. You are human, man.
Don't forget it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think another really, really great point that you actually brought to me is about when to make decisions.
Okay.
I think you don't remember it.
I don't remember, no.
Taking decisions at night.
At night, yeah.
And for this, I think I'm a world champion, and maybe there are some other people out there who are
world champion, guys.
Of taking decisions when your brain is super foggy. And be like, okay, I'm so annoyed now, I have to decide.
Exactly.
But most likely, it's gonna be a bad decision.
It's gonna be a bad decision, guys.
Because you don't see through. Like the other day.
You can't.
Yeah. The other day is like, it was like 2 a.m. or something, 3 a.m. You already see the scenario, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I wanted to invest like a bit of money, like in a ETF, in a stock. And I was like, okay, then I have to do it. And
like 3 a.m.
I couldn't. No, in the days before, I couldn't decide. I was like, okay, which ETF, how much money, and everything.
Yeah.
And bro, at some point, I was like, why is it still not done? You know, I got annoyed. But it was serious. It was at 3 a.m., man.
Yeah.
And I saw that it was going down a bit, and I was like, yeah, it's good, you know. So I invest now, and it's gonna go up. You know?
Yeah.
But then I wasn't thinking. I was too much in the rush, you know. I was just like, I want to get it done. I want to get rid of it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I invested. I put first more money that I initially thought because I was like, so it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of this more money that I put, then it continued to go. It continued to go down, and then it was a just stupid decision at 3 a.m. You know?
At 3 a.m. You were, exactly. It's
And-
like It's like to complement what Luke is saying. I saw this. Where did I don't know if it was a book or a picture or a podcast. I don't know, but basically there is a rule about decisions. And, I mean, you can apply it if you want.
Apply it.
Apply it. Yes, I would apply it. You know,
After losing the money or loss,
yeah,
you guys,
you should apply.
I will
this.
apply it.
Apply it. You know, it says never make decisions after 10 p.m.
And 10 p.m. your time, man. Not 10, don't find a way to.
Don't find a way like 10 p.m. in the US or 10 p.m. in Australia. You know?
Come on, it was 9 a.m. You know, in New York. Yeah, but brother,
Exactly.
it doesn't work.
Like 10 p.m., not 10 a.m., 22 o'clock, you know. After 22 o'clock, you should never make decisions, big decisions. Why? Because you've had a long day. You had stress, maybe. You had to work, maybe. You had to, even if you had a chill day, it doesn't matter what you did, but it's basically you went through so many things in this day. All your emotions were not processed. You're still in the rush. You are tired. So when you're tired, your judgment, when you're tired and you're stressed, your judgment is not as good. You know, it's like when you sleep 3 hours or 4 hours, you know, and the decisions you make after you sleep 3 hours or 4 hours are not going to be the best decisions, you know.
Never.
You know, so it's like after 10 p.m., you should never make decisions.
I think it's just nature behind, right? It's just like
Yeah,
your brain and your body just wants to get things done in the fastest way possible.
exactly. It's just like sleep over it, man.
Yeah. Process it.
Process it, and
And
be
if
like,
it's really the right one, it's still gonna feel like the right one tomorrow, you know?
yeah, exactly. If it's the right decision to invest at 3 a.m.
It's still gonna be a good one.
and you wake up the next day at 12 and you're like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I should do it, then it's probably the right decision.
But that's actually what they use, you know, for example, on Amazon or on some websites. You want to order and they tell you, yeah, but if you don't order in the 15 next minutes,
Yeah.
you don't get the discount anymore.
Until midnight. You can order until midnight.
Yes.
You know? Oh, my
And you
days.
feel like, okay, now I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision.
Yeah. Oh, they got me so many times, bro.
And most likely, what's gonna drive your decision is not you and what you really need, but it's their business.
It's their business, yeah.
They manage to take over. They hijack your emotional process.
That's so true, man. I was ordering a case and I didn't even like this case. You know, I didn't even like this fucking case. It's ugly. I can show it to you. I wish I could show it to everyone, but I would have to stand up and show it to everyone. Ugliest case for my laptop. So ugly, bro. It looks like I'm 75 years old.
Ugly.
You know? Ugly. Ugly. And on Amazon, it had a discount. And it was like, if you order until today at midnight, and, you know, this was already 10 p.m. when I saw this. Of course, making decisions after 10 p.m., you know. If you order this until midnight, it comes tomorrow with a good price. And for me, it's like, I need to carry my laptop, so I do need a case, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at another case. I was like, man, I just want to get this shit over with, you know?
Yeah.
I bought that case, and today I look at that case, I'm like, man.
When you are fresh.
When I'm fresh, yeah.
You can see how ugly it
Bro, when it comes the next day, you're like, why did I do that? You know?
Stupid, yeah.
Really stupid. Very stupid, man. Stupid head.
Actually, that's part of I think, the negotiation techniques. You know, that's what they use really often. So they cook you and everything. They prepare the negotiation and then they make the offer.
Yeah.
And when you are a little hesitant, the guy is going to be like, okay, I make 10 euros discount and now you sign.
Yeah.
And he used this little pressure of now you sign to actually, make you feel like, so it's either now or never, you know?
Yeah. It's like when you go to a market, a
Yeah.
flea market, and you try to negotiate.
Oh man.
Oh my days, man.
I was there with my parents in it's called Naschmarkt. It's in Vienna,
Mm-hmm.
in Austria.
You
And
should visit.
I was there with my parents, and yeah, there was a guy who wanted to sell cheese, and the guy got us, man. And the little piece of cheese, it was some truffle cheese or whatever.
Oh,
It was 40 euros.
40 euros.
And the guy just had all the techniques of the guy who is like managing to hijack your system to make you take the decision in his favor. Just like selling techniques, I guess.
Yeah, selling techniques.
And the guy was like, okay, then I do that, I give you a little discount and we're good. And he gives you the hand, you know?
Oh my days.
And you're like, motherfucker.
He's touching, he's
You are
getting
this
close
guy.
to you, you know, he's
Yeah.
getting close to you. Yeah.
You are this guy.
Yeah.
And he's friendly, you know, he knows.
He knows, he knows. It's hard to say. And then it comes that thing, saying no.
Yeah.
Saying no.
Yeah.
Saying no.
Hardest decision, or?
Hardest thing ever. I think in my younger years, it was so hard for me to say no. I would always say yes. Everyone, like people would be like, "Oh, let's do this. Yeah, I'm gonna come. Yeah, for sure. Let's do this. Yeah." Even though deep inside of me, I was like, I don't want to do this, man. You know, I don't. Probably I need to rest today. You know, but then my first instinct was to say yes the whole time. You know,
Because what happens when you say no?
I don't know. It's just what happens when you say no. Now I say no. I don't care. You know, because I learned that
Yeah, but that's what happens. You don't care, right?
yeah, you don't care. Yeah, because you learn. You're like, okay, I need to take care of myself, or like tonight I need to like make some time for myself, do this, do that. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
Right. But like back in the day, like for me, like if someone asked me something, the first reply would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, yeah, I could look at it. And then I would kind of consider it in my head, you know? Then I learned I need to take care of myself and I need to say no, you know? But saying no is a hard thing, actually.
It's really hard. And what changed? Why can you say no now?
I think I can say no now because I learned that it is not necessary to always say yes. Because I learned that I need to prioritize myself and not to please others, you know?
And why were you saying yes before?
I think I was saying yes because...
Or not saying no?
Oh, yeah, or not saying no. It's the same, yeah. I was not saying no. I think it was because I had that fear of missing out, you know, on something. You know, when you're young, you always have this fear like, yeah, I'm going to miss out. Maybe it's going to be a good time. You're going to do this. And you also like just want to be there. You want to see everything. You always want to be. But in reality, at some point I was like, I don't fear missing out, man. I fear going, you know?
You fear what?
Going.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like it, you know?
Yeah.
If I don't feel like it, I fear going there, you know? I'd rather just stay home and just,
Mm-hmm.
or like, I don't know, to anything, you know? Like my first instinct now is like, yeah, I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I think it's super hard still. Like, I think it requires so much awareness of what you really want. Because the thing is that if you don't really know what you want, then people will take a decision for you.
Yeah.
Same as the thing with the cheese, you know? If you don't really know if you want the cheese, this guy will make you want it. You know?
He made you want that cheese.
If you don't really want to be sober on that night when you go out with your friends, you will get drunk for sure. Because that will be a passive decision in the end, but which is still a decision.
Yeah.
And I think, being able to say no requires to be so aware of what your needs are and what you want to do and achieve, right? It requires a lot of awareness. I think on some stuff I managed to actually do it. On some other things, literally, life is not driven by me still, you know?
Yeah. I think it's a very hard thing, and I don't think it's a thing that just you and me struggle. I think everyone struggles with saying no.
I think what happens for me is that sometimes when I struggle to say no, is that I carry people's emotions. So, right, you say no, you don't know what people's reaction are. You know, some people might be like, all good, brother, just take care of yourself, you know? This is a good friend.
Yeah.
And there is this guy who is like, bro, already like the last time you told me no, you don't love me or what?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hang out with me or what? You don't find time to be with me?
Yeah.
I find time to be with you.
And you are like this, you know?
But actually, you should just understand.
And this, regardless of your action and how great you are or whatever, this is just this person's problem, the way the person reacts, right? And yeah, if you, when I struggle to say no, is that I tend to actually feel bad for this person that would,
yes,
like this person probably, would be them sad and would maybe, I don't know, feel offended. And I would be like, I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to make this person feel sad. So I'm going to make a compromise on myself.
Exactly.
And then I don't say no.
Exactly. But that's bad, you know?
It's not good, because at the end of the day, the time I will spend with this person is gonna most likely drain my energy, because it's not what I really want to do. And then all this energy that has been drained is energy that I don't have for the other people,
For the other people.
for the other things I want to achieve in my life,
And for yourself as well.
While I could have just refilled my energy or do things that are actually refilling my energy, so I have even more energy for the rest. And it's never. I kind of realized it, but I think this is coming again and again in life. Like, it's everywhere, and it's like, it's not worth it. But when it's someone you are close to, you're like, hey, I don't want to carry these emotions. I'm not responsible for the person's reaction.
Yeah.
Some people will react good. Some people will react bad. Some people will completely freak out.
Yeah.
And when you carry this with you, probably because, you learn to do it in childhood and these things.
Yeah.
Then, you repeat this pattern, and you please people, and you just say yes to things you don't want to say yes. And at the end of the day,
and you're drained.
You're fucking drained.
You're drained. Yeah. You need to learn how to say no. And I feel like it's like what you said. It depends on the person that you say no to, because different people have different reactions to your no. Different friends. Some friends are gonna be like, if you tell me no, I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro, I understand. I know you're cooked or you have things to do. Just go do your stuff, you know. But with some friends, you would say no, and the person would be like, but bro, like, why? You know, let's go, let's do it. You know.
Yeah.
And then you would say, no, bro, I'm really tired. You know. Like, but you're always tired, you know, and they're just insisting on that point, you know.
Yeah.
And then
making you feel a little bad. Or you will feel bad about what they tell you.
You feel bad about what they tell you, and I don't mean that these friends mean it in a bad way.
No,
because they want to be with you.
Of course not.
It is not a bad thing. They want to be with you and they like you, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just the saying no, if it's so powerful, because you're actually taking care of yourself. Saying no, it is such a powerful thing. It is so underestimated, you know.
Once you unlock this, you're flying.
Right? Because you can take care of yourself, you can take care of your energy, you can protect all the things you have, you know?
And if you sit down with yourself and wonder, okay, what are the good drivers to make the decisions? To make, okay, should I say no? Should I say yes? Most likely, if you just take the people's emotions as an input, once again, you won't live your life based on what you need and what you want. You won't live your life. You will live the life based on people want from you.
Yeah. So you're living for others.
And if you think of it and look at yourself, is it really what you want? And when you say no, I think you say no to this. You are like, no, that's not what I want. I want to live my life. And I'm so sorry, you know. You are so sorry, probably.
Yeah.
When you say no, I wish I could meet your expectations.
And you don't even have to be sorry. That's also the thing, I think.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to be sorry because this is what you want to do, you know?
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
I'm not sure.
Like,
for me, I'm still so this is for me a sign of empathy. So I always say that I'm sorry, you know? I'm sorry for the person.
Yeah, I'm sorry I cannot come, but I don't really...
No. I mean it in a way like...
Okay.
I'm sorry that your expectations are not met.
Okay.
I feel... Okay. I have empathy for how you feel.
Okay, me too, yeah.
Because I think, like, when you really want to see someone and this person is like, I can't because of whatever reason, and you have to respect it. Like, only yes means yes, basically.
Yeah.
This is not easy also for the person who receives a no, basically. This is never so comfortable when someone tells you no. But you always have to respect it. And when I say no myself, I try to have empathy for this person receiving the no, you know? But I don't know if that makes sense. Why did you mean you shouldn't be sorry?
No, I thought like that you were feeling sorry for not going or saying no.
Feeling,
Like you're feeling
bad.
feeling bad, that you feel bad saying no, so you're sorry.
Yeah.
You know. But for me, like that's what I understood. But I also have the empathy. I feel sorry that I like for the person, you know, in that sense.
Yeah.
Like what you said. But I meant like you should never feel sorry for yourself, because this is always an investment for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a good thing for you that you say no.
Yeah.
Such a strong word, no.
This is really strong. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a good one. I was just thinking, like, if I had examples in mind of moments where you had to actually say no.
Yeah.
Where it was really hard. Do you have like ideas?
I have, I have like mostly with like, I don't know, if someone tells me like, yeah, let's go out, or like if it's like like someone plans something, and then we plan, I don't know, 1 week before.
Oh,
it's already planned.
Oh yeah,
You know,
really hard.
like it's 7 days in advance. People prepare. It's the day of
Expectations are cooking.
exactly a cooking, man. You know, like in the pan. You know, you're frying it, and you know, the day arrives of the moment, and you don't feel like going, or something happens that makes you not feel like going.
Let's take a nice example I have in mind. So it was my birthday, last year in September.
Yeah.
And you were sick as fuck.
Yeah, I was so sick, man.
But what was your thought process?
I was like, first of all, it was your birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and we rented this boat or whatever that was,
Yeah.
you know. And I already had the present. I already said I was going, and for some reason, the day before your birthday, and I knew it was your birthday 1 year before, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I get so sick, you know, and I had to work that day. I had to wake up at 5. I woke up at 5, sick as fuck. I went to work. I should have not gone to work, but I thought like, okay, I'm probably just exaggerating. I'm maybe just tired, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And after work, I was feeling so bad. And I was like, oh my days, it's Luke's birthday. I cannot miss his birthday. This is, you know?
Yeah.
Because on top of that, I was bringing the speaker. I was bringing the present.
You had to carry
I had to carry things, you know?
You had the whole backpack of expectations.
Exactly, you know? I think I even had a cake. I don't remember, but I had a lot of things to bring. And it's your birthday, so it's a special occasion for you, you know? So I was like, I have to go,
Yeah.
you know? And man, I was feeling so sick. I arrived there, I played it cool, you know, and everything. And after like 2-3 hours, I told you, I was like, Luke, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
You were like, come on, bro.
Yeah. I was like, bro, I am really sick. I had a fever. I think it was the time that I had the 39 degrees of fever. I was so sick. It was so cold as well, you know. And I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. And you're like, come on, man.
It's really horrible. You become this guy who doesn't accept I was so hyped. It was my birthday, and I was this guy who wasn't accepting your no, basically. I was like, bro, like, I want to be with you, you know?
Exactly.
I want to see you energized as fuck.
Exactly. You know? And me too, but I just couldn't. I had a headache. My nose was dead. I was so hot. You know, I was sweating, horrible, man. And it was like 2 degrees outside, you know? Yeah. And I was like, bro, and I didn't know how to tell you this.
I'm so sorry.
You know, I came to you, I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. And the first look you made, it was like, bro, are you serious? You know,
you already know.
You know, and I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm really sick. Yeah. I can't be here. Touch me. I remember you touched my forehead. Like, come on, bro, it's okay, you know.
It could have been 50 degrees on the forehead, you know.
It could be the kettle, you know, like for the tea. Yeah. You'll be like, nah, bro, you're not sick. You know?
It's all right.
Yeah, and there was a moment that I was like, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm feeling horrible. I really have to go.
But how do you drive these decisions? And do you think it was the right way, what you did? Do you think, would you do anything different? Not the right way in the sense, okay, this is right or wrong, you know?
Yeah.
But was it you? Would you do the same or?
No, because I think that decision I made because of you. You know, because it was your birthday, so it was your day. Yeah. I mean, I should have stayed home and sleep, because I had fever.
But then it's really critical in this situation, right?
Because I mean, after it was your birthday, there was another birthday from a good friend of ours, and I didn't go because I still had the fever and I was really dying. The thing is, at your birthday,
the guy sacrificed himself.
the thing at your birthday, it was the beginning of the fever, so it was not as bad.
Okay,
I got the fever that day, you know. But
it's
at the other friend's birthday,
it's when I gave you the champagne.
Exactly, yeah.
Escalated.
Man, you're cooked, man, you know. And then when the other friend's birthday, who's as important, you know, 2 days after, I was extremely sick. I couldn't get out of bed. I was like, yeah. I mean, even if I wanted to come, I couldn't come.
Yeah.
But for your birthday, I kind of still had a bit of power to come, and I kind of had the things, you know, so I did come. But yeah, yeah, it was not healthy for me, you know. I should have said no.
Yeah.
You know,
this is.
I should have said no. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's also a good lesson or message for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically I think you can rely on trust in these situations, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When the person tells you, yeah, I promise you, I wish it was different.
Yeah.
But it can be different, and I hope you accept it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all I can give, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not enough for you, I'm so sorry, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I will try to do better next time.
Exactly.
And yeah, just a good message for the person who is like receiving the no, that, yeah, just to respect that, basically.
Yeah. It is not about you. The person is not saying no because of you, not because the person doesn't want to be with you.
Yeah.
There's something that is happening in that person's life. You don't know.
You don't see it through the same lens, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're not wearing the same glasses, you know? So you don't know. Like, that person maybe had a bad day, had a fight, something happened in their family. Maybe
you never know.
You never know. So it's like on the sense, if they say no, yeah, I mean,
if you love this person, yeah,
like, yeah,
even if you don't love, by the way,
yeah, exactly. Even if you don't love it, it's like you have to respect it, you know, because that's and accept it because that person is saying no for a reason, you know.
In his or her world, this no comes from somewhere, and you have to trust that.
Yeah, you have to trust that this person still likes you, and the no has nothing to do with you, but it has to do with them, and they're not feeling well, and you have to respect that.
Yeah, and when I put myself again in the moments of my birthday, I was like, didn't have any bad intentions, you know. When I was touching your forehead, I was like, broken.
Yeah, of course, you know? Yeah.
Like, I was tipsy and I was excited and I wanted to enjoy and I wanted you to be part of it.
Yeah.
All good intentions.
Yeah.
But that was preventing me from seeing through your lens, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, the really important thing probably is to be like, okay, I don't need to see through your lens to trust the fact that what you want to do or what you do is making sense to you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I know if we are good friends, basically, I should trust the fact that, yeah, if you could be here, if you could just stay, you would do it, of course.
Yeah, you would do it, yeah. I would do it in this case, yeah. I'm glad we had this conversation.
It's nice.
Yeah, this was a year ago. We never talked about it, actually.
A bit more, yeah. A bit less.
But I knew you wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
anyways,
but this is good, you know, to talk about it retrospectively, because when you think about it, a lot of decisions were made just in this moment.
Yeah.
You had to figure out, okay, should I go to this birthday? Should I leave now because I have fucking fever? Where do I draw the line?
Yeah.
About my well-being? Because at this point, this does more bad to me than good, right? And on my end also, yeah, like just respecting, you know, or just being like, bro, come on, was already a decision, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, come on.
You know,
come on, bro.
The classic, you try the little push, you know. the 15 minutes on Amazon, you know. You try the 15 minutes.
Never make decisions after 10 p.m. This was also after 10 p.m., I think.
And no decisions with alcohol.
No decisions with alcohol, no with 10
There was all the bad conditions to make bad decisions.
All the bad conditions.
That's what happened. We are proud of it. We still talk to each other, you know. We're still doing the podcast.
We're still doing the podcast, guys. It's not a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the message we want to pass on today, you know. Just decisions are things that, like you said, that come with confidence. Choices are rational things, you know. And it's just, yeah, you have a decision to make if you're not sure of it. But if you think that it could be something, do it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Live it.
Take the risk.
Fail it.
Fail it.
Succeed it. Whatever.
Succeed it.
and that's your beauty. That's the beauty of life,
Yeah.
and that's part of it.
It's your story. You write your story, not someone else. If you want to move there, you move there. If you want to move there, you move there. But it's your story, so write it. You are the author, you know. Make your decisions, big or small. At the end of the day, you learn from them. If they're not as you expected, that's also good.
As long as they are yours, they are good by default.
Exactly.
Because this is you, and that's it.
And you learn it.
There's nothing more needed, I think.
So like the thing from Nike, just do it. Just do it, man.
Just do it, yeah.
Just do it.
That's all about that.
Exactly, guys. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
It was an amazing episode.
It was a pleasure. And it was
Planet Earth. Yeah.